Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Sportsfellas.
Yeah,
All right.
here we go again. Love it.
This is Eric back in the booth. Happy to be here. Shout out to all my armed forces people.
Hey, guys, it's Chris with a K. Just loving it out here again.
And this is Taylor, one and only Ravens fan.
I like that. And your host, this is Carlos. Welcome back, everyone. Sports Nation, welcome, welcome. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of discussion here about Week 13 critical games. We're also going to give little insights, talks on the playoff picture. Also, we're going to talk a little about college football playoffs as well. And we will talk about the game of the week as well and insights. And the favorite show of everyone, Mano a Mano. Can Eric still continue the streak?
It's tough.
Dun, 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 dun.
It's tough out here.
Or it's time to retire him. All right, let's go ahead and give a quick shout out and thank you to our following sponsors.
Hey, guys, it's your old pal Chris with a K here, giving a shout out to some of those unsung heroes in the entertainment industry, DJs. And we've got a great one for you. Spin It Again Entertainment, doing weddings, anniversaries, birthdays, music events, photo booths with backdrops and dancing on the clouds. Check them out at Linktree Spin It Again Entertainment. Their phone number 316-617-3281. That's Spin It Again Entertainment. Check them out for all your entertainment needs.
All right, welcome back. So, you guys, Week 13 is here, and we're going to go ahead and break down a little bit on some critical games here. Taylor, I'm going to start this off with you. The Ravens will play the Pittsburgh Steelers tomorrow. This is going to be a critical game right now. The Ravens, you guys are on top right now in the AFC North with the Steelers struggling, Eric. Your squad's struggling a little bit. So I'm going to start this off with you, Taylor. We need to know is, what do you think is going to happen? What's going to be the game plan for the Ravens tomorrow?
I would say game plan-wise, we're going to try to reestablish the run. It's been an issue all season, but I think we just Steelers right now defensively are not what they used to be at the beginning of the season, so hopefully we can establish that run, get Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews involved offensively, and just kind of hit on all cylinders. Lamar, if he gets his legs in the game as well, it's going to be key for us, and I think we're going to come strong, and just if we hit them in the mouth early, we'll be able to keep up the lead and get the dub.
For me, I'm not too hopeful for this game. We're not looking too good on defense. We had our first game where T.J. Watt didn't have any pressures, really, no sacks.
He did hit the quarterback once,
though. He did. But we need those sacks. Those sacks are what we pay him for. I need Ben to have a bounce-back game, as hard as that is to ask. Need him to have a bounce-back game. We need Najee Harris to go off, and we have to keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket, which with our defense kind of the way they are right now is going to be tough. So I'm not hopeful, but I mean, I always cross my fingers for my team, but if the Ravens establish themselves early, it's going to be hard, and especially the Steelers are not good at playing from behind right now.
This is really a critical game, especially in the shakeup in the AFC North, because overall, Baltimore has racked up quality wins and some close wins, but also at the same time, they've had some losses that were kind of questionable, especially the one when you guys lost to Miami. But you're going against a team right now in the Steelers that's struggling all the way across, missing some key personnel players. And now this is the time where the Ravens need to take advantage to establish themselves and dominate in the AFC North. Because right now, our buddy over there, Chris, and the Bengals, they're
coming up.
They're like, it's like a jungle.
Ready to pounce.
They're ready to do this. And like I said in the last show, it's like CCR, welcome to the jungle, because they're waiting for you. They're waiting for you. And right now, this is just interesting how everything is playing out. But, Chris, I'll ask you real quick. With the Steelers, what opportunities do they have to possibly beat the Ravens?
I mean, I think if they can get the run game going, and if they can lock down Lamar Jackson, if they can get some hits on him, if TJ can get, if Watt can get out there and get some, sacks and get some pressure on, and not let Lamar run free outside of the pocket. They need to contain him and force him to throw downfield and hopefully make some mistakes in those throws.
That's the only way Lamar has ever had a bad game, is if you force him to throw and beat you
when he
with his
doesn't want
arm.
to.
Right.
His throws, his mechanics on his throwing, it reminds me of an impaired Phillip Rivers. The way he throws, Taylor, you've noticed that? when he's throwing, it's sometimes I feel like just that little, just that throw.
He definitely doesn't have
It's
that
just-
smoothness of Rodgers
No.
or
And not a Mahomes either, not a
definitely, or
Mahomes.
even a Herbert or Burrow. His throwing motion, but I mean he can still throw.
the
He
legs.
can still wing it 40 yards. You know, I mean he
Yeah.
can, and it may not always be on a dime, but it's a lot of times serviceable for the receiver.
It's got to be the legs. That's what it is.
It's footwork.
So.
Oh yeah,
now-
he's thrown from a lot of awkward positions too.
But here's when you're now looking at all personnel going in. It's just that the only thing I'm very concerned about Baltimore, especially when they're progressing going forward, is are you guys going to establish a running back? It's not even a committee. It's more of a who's going to be good that
Who's
day.
alive this week?
And it's like Seattle. When you're looking at Seattle, they have 3 guys there with Dallas, Collins, and then Penny.
They
None
just
of them
picked up
has stepped up.
Peterson.
Oh, they
Seattle.
just did?
Yeah.
They signed him?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All day.
Okay, well that will work, but that's a subject for
I-
another day. So
I would. I honestly, because I've had so many playoff woes to the Steelers, I hope that Baltimore wins so that we can play them in the playoffs. and not the Steelers.
Chris, come on, man.
Because that's
let's,
still
let's stop the disrespect.
Look, Carson
Come on.
Palmer's leg.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeremy Hill's fumble. I can go on, but those are the more recent
remember
ones.
when Rudy Johnson fumbled? Oh god,
Yeah,
the Steelers.
so-
But come on, you guys, let's keep it nice. Let's keep it nice here. You're saying let's just be nice
I'm
here.
just gonna cry in the corner.
I got your back, okay? Don't you worry. So let's just shoot it straight. I know Taylor's going for the Ravens. Chris, you're taking the Ravens. I know you're going for your Steelers.
Yep.
But if you were a betting man,
I would bet on the Ravens.
Okay, that's what we got. Okay, so next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals going to be hosting the Los Angeles Chargers.
Hooday.
Hey, the Bengals are the team right now. They're the
They're
menacing
hot.
orange and
You know-
black.
And my only fear is the last time they were this hot earlier this year, they lost to the Jets.
Weird.
And I don't want to see that again. This is going to be a close game. I think this is going to be a good game. I think you're going to see some back and forth. There was a year, several years ago, where the Chargers and Cincy played, and it was like a video game. It was like 48-41, I think, was the end of the inning score in that game. I don't think it's going to be that, but I think we're going to see a 30-point game. I believe that Cincinnati can pull that out. If they can get into the 30s, I think they've got a good chance to really run the ball. The Chargers, although I'm sure they're going to be practicing that all week, they're having some trouble stopping the run, and I know they've got some guys out. They had their D tackle Lindeval Joseph is out this week. He was out last week as well for COVID, out this week too. And we saw what Denver did to him. And Denver's offense and Cincinnati's are not the same. I would say their defenses are close though, and they played the Chargers pretty well once they really established that run and forced Herbert to have to win the game. So
I think if the Bengals can keep Burrows away from Joey Bosa, that's really the key because he's a monster on the line.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He's a disruptor, and if they can keep Joe Burrows vertical instead of on his back, they have a chance to win because Joe Mixon's going to do his thing. Burrow is smart. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's having a good rookie year. I just think if they win this game, it's a statement. If the Bengals win this game, it's a big statement.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bengals as well. I just think
I don't know if I like this. Unanimous around the table.
so. The big question is which Chargers team are we going to see? Are we going to see the team that beat the Chiefs, beat the Steelers a few weeks ago, or are we going to see the one who just got crushed by the Broncos last week? So I do think if the Bengals establish the run with Mixon and just use him, the Chargers' run D, like Chris said, is a big weakness for them. So I don't think they're going to be able to stop them. I think they're just going to fire them up.
Don't the Chargers always seem to be that team that their consistency is very inconsistent? Like they show up and boom, blow somebody out, and then they show up and you're like, oh, they're going to win. Oh no.
I think they play.
I mean, for 20 years they've been
up or down to their competition,
Sure.
which is bad, but that's just what they do.
right.
Have no fear because Herbert is here. All right, here's the thing: the Chargers are going to have a spectacular game tomorrow. They're not going to blow out the Bengals. Now, watch what I'm about to say. Watch what I'm about to say. It's going to be neck to neck because you nailed it to the dot. Bosa's got to get to Burrow. Also, on the second, this is where I want to challenge the Chargers because secondary-wise, Burrow is making limited mistakes. He's playing great on the air, establishing the run with Mixon, and also that rookie wide receiver that he has. You guys in general, when I'm saying you, Chris, that your team overall is really firing on all cylinders. But watch. Let's say we get the Chargers that play against Kansas City, Taylor. Am I not right? Am I not right? Or the Steelers just torturing, just throwing the ball out. I keep saying this week in, week out. Herbert, get your boy Mike Williams involved. Get him involved. If that doesn't work, use your other wide receivers that you have. If Keenan Allen's locked down and Mike is locked down, they've got two other stud wide receivers that are quick and fast. Jared Cook, if he stopped making some dumb, boneheaded moves, get him. Get him involved. But Eckler, what else do you need? That guy's a beast.
The weapons are there.
So it's all there. It's just that the Chargers, they concern me defensively. Because like you said, when they get into this competition mode, they give up. And there was a game, and I'm glad you went to memory lane here. I remember a game in Cincinnati. It was the year that LaDainian and Phillip Rivers and all those guys were 14-2. They took them to the wire, even though they did win. Because that year,
Tomlinson had 4 or 5 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah. In that year, the only teams they lost to was the Ravens and the Chiefs. But again, they lose in the playoffs to New England. But anyways, but here's the thing. It's going to be a fun game. But I feel, and Taylor, I'm going to ask you this. Who do you think is good? It's both important for the both of them because it's the AFC game. But at the same time, who do you feel is going to benefit this more for this win? The Bengals or the Chargers? Personally, I know they both need it, but I want to ask you that. Who do you feel needs this win more?
I would say the Chargers need to win more. AFC, I mean, both conferences are very tight right now, but with the Chiefs, getting better week by week, I think the Chargers really need to win against another AFC opponent, and because who knows what their record's going to look like by the end of the season.
Eric?
I would say it is the Chargers as well, but if the Bengals do pull it off, it puts so much pressure on that Ravens-Steelers game.
Chris?
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers are right now last in the possible playoff place, and if they lose here, they're going to probably get bumped out of that last place spot. So they're the ones that need to win, really, to stay in the hunt. But I've got some faith in my boys, I think. I mean, this is a huge game for Cincinnati as well because this is a statement game. This is, hey, we are here. We're not – these weren't some lucky wins. We haven't just been lucking into this whole thing. Just like I think the Raiders game, because they were the same record at the time, was a big statement. This is it, too, that it's a quality team, and but it's a game you should win. Can you pull off a quality win that you're supposed to? And that's been hard to do.
All right, so who you're taking, Taylor, for tomorrow?
I'm going with Cincinnati.
Yeah, Cincy.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati as well.
So I guess I'm the only Charger. Hey, Los Angeles, you hearing me out? I'm rooting for you guys. This is it. All right, so let's move on to the Sunday night game. We have the Denver Broncos visiting the Kansas City Chiefs. This was a flex game. They replaced the 49ers and Seahawks game because that's probably a boring game. So I'm going to start this off with you, Chris. I'm going to start this off with you. So Denver right now is playing with confidence right now. They beat the Chargers, and it looks like their defense is finally coming back. But here's a statement game for them. They're going against a rival that has been beating them day in, day out. Where do you see this game going tomorrow?
I mean, they play them hard and play them well, as most divisional games are. And this is one that Denver needs to win. I mean, if they don't win this, they're pretty much out. They're third in the division. They're outside of the bubble looking in. And so they need to win this. And I'm sure they're going to come play hard, but Kansas City has really started putting things together. Their defense has started to finally come together. And a lot of times that's just, D-backs getting communication, getting on the same page and working together for a while and watching film of, oh, that's what you do when that happens. Sorry, man, I didn't know you did that. And so they're starting to look really good. Patrick Mahomes seems to have gotten his interception issue away, and I mean, it seems like just a couple of weeks ago, I mean, weren't they petitioning to have Patrick Mahomes taken out, which is just ridiculous,
asinine.
And you know, Kansas City's right back at the top of the AFC West where we thought they'd be. So I think this is going to be Kansas City's game to lose. So I mean, you know, good luck, Denver, but it's probably Kansas City.
I think the Chiefs need to win this game just to establish that they're back on the right track, because they kind of stumbled a little bit, and then they came back for the Dallas game, and they need to establish back to peaking at the right time. I mean, right now I think the Bengals might be the hottest team because they're peaking at the right time. My Steelers, I can say this, the last 2 years we've peaked early and faltered late. You don't want to falter late in this league. You want to peak at the right time, and I think right now the Chiefs have a chance to gain their control back if they do that. So they need to win this game and win it in a very good manner. You know, it doesn't need to be close. They need to win it with dominance to show that they're back.
When it's crazy in the West that you've got the Chiefs at 7-4, and the Raiders, who are fourth in the West, at 6-5. There's
That
one
close,
game
yeah.
from one first to last. I mean, every one of these games are going to matter for those.
It's
those guys.
it's almost win or go home.
Yeah, at this point, and we've got 6 weeks left in the season.
Yeah, I really don't see any scenario where the Chiefs lose this game. They're coming off the bye. You generally don't bet against Andy Reid coming off the bye. And then this Denver team, I just don't see how they're going to be able to put up many points against this Chiefs defense that's getting so hot at the right time. Melvin Gordon's going to be out. Bridgewater's not playing his best football. And
Keeps getting banged up.
Yep. It's just
you know how to kick me when I'm down.
Hey, I would love to see the Chiefs lose. Don't get me wrong. If the Broncos can come out there looking like they did against Dallas, that'd be great.
Well, so far I'm 0-2. When I bet against my team, they win. So if I keep up the streak, this could work. So okay, I'm gonna take my chances. Yeah, well, I'll go against them on this. So because so far, every time I've gone against them, they've won. But here's the thing: on the Chiefs side, they're at home. They're at home, and it's tough to win at Arrowhead. I've said that multiple times. We're both. I mean, we've been to some Chief games here. Yep. It's tough. I mean, the fans there are rowdy.
Arrowhead's loud.
It's that sea of red. It's just dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is with Denver going in, how now Melvin Gordon is out. I mean, this is Williams' time to shine, to get out there. I wish he would just get out there and do what he was doing when he was coming out of North Carolina. Just get out there, run, establish, go, and then get these wide receivers up and going as well. Bridgewater, if some protect him so he can make his progressions, so that will help him ease the pain without having to take the whole load on his shoulders. And overall on the Chiefs side, defensively they're putting the pieces together, so they're going to go after him. So if it's going to be a game, I hope it just comes down to a field goal. Kind of just get that field goal and get out. But I see the Chiefs winning this game. It's okay. Let them get their win, and hopefully they'll flex that game. And then when the Broncos will host them, it'll be a difference. And so it benefits. Either way, it benefits. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, so we're all taking the Chiefs then.
Yep.
All right, so next up we have the 49ers going against the Seattle Seahawks. This is pretty simple, you guys. It's real simple to the core. Seahawks are struggling. Russell Wilson looks demoralized. And then you have Tyler Lockett and especially DK Metcalf.
He's had a rough one this year.
He changes his hair as my stock portfolio. I just don't understand why he's not being elite like he was last year.
I think something is going on with him and Russell, because I watched the game last week, and he didn't get a pass thrown to him until the third quarter.
Wow.
I wonder if he was checking out Russell Wilson's wife on the videos. That's what happens. You want validation. That's what happens. And he caught him. He says, you know what? You're punished. I'm not going to throw you the ball.
It had to be something, because
I'm joking, you guys. I'm joking.
There was something, maybe even in the offseason, maybe that's why Russell Wilson decided that he didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah.
Is something. But, yeah, there's definitely something weird going on.
Because he's not even looking his way. And he's a number one on that team. You know,
and he's a stud, man. He's a number one on any team.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's kind of like when you listen to Phil Collins. Something's in the air because I'll tell you why.
Right.
Because overall, they can't get a darn running game going. That's frustrating already with Chris Carson out for the year with his neck injury. They can't get that going. The tight ends, Gerald Everett has stepped up because remember when he
has some
played
good
with
games.
when he played with the Rams, that was Goff's go-to guy. But now, because last game against the Washington football team, that's who the guy he was going to. Thanks a lot, Russell. You hurt me in my fantasy league. You couldn't give the ball to Tyler Lockett. But the 49ers, they're coming off a good win against Minnesota. And I feel the 49ers right now are playing with confidence. I have them sneaking in the playoffs. They're not going to win the division. I think that will be established for Arizona.
Yeah.
But I have them sneaking in. Taylor, who are you taking?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. 49ers all the way. Their run game is just incredible right now. They've got Elijah Mitchell, Debo Samuel, who's going to be out, but he's still a force. And it seems like it's a different offense once Kittle's in it, just block-wise. And then, I mean, no one can really guard him. And when he catches the ball, he can run for a touchdown. He's that dominant. I just don't see Seattle with their non-existent running game and their problematic passing game really being able to keep up.
I have the 49ers as well. I mean, they establish the run. Jimmy G can manage the game, and if he messes up, they put in Trey Lance, and he can do the rest. But
Speaking of that, Eric, real quick. So are they going to trade Garoppolo? What's the news on that?
I haven't heard much, but Jimmy has done what he's needed to do to stay in this year. I remember me and Chris had a conversation earlier this year about, is it going to be week 3 or week 6 that they put in the first-round pick, and Jimmy's been doing a good enough job to stay in there. So,
well, in the very limited Trey Lance time,
Right.
it wasn't knock your socks off by any means. So,
Right. So I think maybe another year, because I don't know Jimmy's contract right now, but I know that he's on the hot seat. So maybe if he makes a playoff run, maybe they trade the first-round pick. You never know. It all depends on if they make the playoffs. That's one scenario. If they don't, that's a whole nother one. And then it's up to Shanahan to make the choice. Who's his guy for real?
All right. Well, that will be yet to be seen. Remain to be seen. So, all right. So, last game here, we have the game of the week. We have the New England Patriots hot streak going on, 6th game in a row, going against the Buffalo Bills. All right, Chris, I'm going to start this off with you. So, the Patriots are just playing lights out. Very lights out.
Patriots of old.
Very stormtrooper type of football. They're just going in, taking care of business. They're going to go against the Bills that have been slightly inconsistent, but now they're kind of picking it back up. So for the AFC East, Chris, who are you taking for this game Monday night?
This is going to be tough. This is going to be a tough one. I really like the Bills. I hope that they win. They have to win this game if they want to stay in it. I mean, they may pull off a wild card, but this is a winner go home for them as far as the division goes. Because if they don't, they're done.
Yep.
And it's once again becomes the Patriots. I do like the Patriots as far as the way they've been playing. This is a defensive team. I mean, that's how they're built. If this defense would have been around last year, I think Cam might still be there. But there was a lot of guys that were out due to injury and opted out. They had several defensive starters opt out.
Yep.
And I think if they had been there and the defense played like it is this year, Cam might have still been around. Because Mac Jones hasn't been winning games. He's just not been losing games.
That's important.
And
though.
it is very important, especially for a rookie. And he's been making good throws. It's not that he's just handing off everything or just throwing a bunch of screens. He gets first downs, which is what Tom Brady did in 2001.
Absolutely.
And we saw where he went. So if I was putting money on it, I'd probably have to go with the Patriots, but I'm not, so I'm going to go with the Bills.
Okay. How about you, Taylor?
I think it'll be a close game for sure. Just looking at it from I just think defensively New England's just, they're the cream of the crop right now. They've got on all cylinders. It's hard to throw against them. They can stop the run. They can really do everything. And then defensively for the Bills, they lost Tre'Davious White last week with an ACL. That's a huge blow to their defense, which compounded with Mac Jones playing decent football, and they have a good run game. I really think Bill Belichick's going to be able to outcoach Sean McDermott and get the win.
My heart goes out for the Bills. I really want the Bills to win, but if I was a betting man, it'd be the Patriots. It's just the simple fact is Bill Belichick has played the Bills multiple times, and he's probably got enough film on Josh Allen to see where he can get him at. But I'm going for the Bills. My heart just goes out for the Bills. I just feel that they're going to have to they're just going to have to play in the trenches, and Josh Allen has to not make a lot of mistakes. For every mistake he does, that's a gain for the Patriots. And Mac Jones is playing great, and especially their run game's not bad either, and their wide receivers are they're lighting it up. But I'm going for the Bills. It's at home. It's going to get rowdy, and so it'll be the Bills. But probably when they go to Foxborough, New England's probably going to win. So that concludes that game of the week. Tune in for the next episode. We will talk about the weekly picks for Week 14. All right, so let's go ahead and give a quick shout-out to our following sponsors.
Are you needing some insurance? Give our good friend Ernie Ruelas with State Farm Insurance a call. Like a good neighbor, Ernie's there. You can call him at 1-316-682-2300. Or if you're in Wichita, come see his office at 11330 East Central, Suite 400 at Central and Greenridge.
All right, so we're going to do a quick rundown of the NFC playoff hunt. So, Eric, I'm going to start this off with you. In the NFC side, really quick, do you see the standings right now with Arizona number 1? Are they at the right spot?
I think they are. I've been a big fan of them all year. The trades that their GM's making, when they picked up Zach Ertz, how he was a valuable asset right away. I just think that they need to win now.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like how the Rams are kind of putting all their chips in right now. I think Cliff Kingsbury is putting all the chips in right now for them to win,
Sure.
and they're healthy, and they're poised to make it happen. So I think they are in the right place.
Now, Chris, for the number 2, Green Bay, do you feel they should be number 1, or they're fine at number 2?
I think they're fine at number 2. I think there are some weakness. There's some shakiness sometimes to that team. I think, I think 2 is a good place. They're going to probably get to that AFC Championship yet again, or NFC Championship yet again, and
All right, Taylor. How about the number 3, Tampa Bay? You like them at number 3, or they should be higher than 3?
I think 3 is fitting for them. I think that they're 8-3 right now. I don't really see them losing no more than maybe one more game the whole season up until playoffs. Leonard Fournette's really on another level right now, and they're solid for sure.
Well, I got America's team at number 4. All right, so Dallas, if they're going to go out, they got to capitalize on wins. Okay, so those shaky games are done. They have to win out and be prepared to host a game and get ready to get on the road. Tampa Bay is not afraid to go to anybody's house. They beat Green Bay last year. That was last year, but I get it. But they already got that experience. They can go to anybody's house and disrupt. Now, Arizona, they're a little bit of a younger team. We need D-Hop. If they're going to make a pose for a run to the Super Bowl, D-Hop, am I right?
Oh, absolutely.
D-Hop needs to get healthy. A.J. Green needs to get a little bit more established. Christian Kirk, get more involved in the offense. And then on the run game, get that going as well. But defensively, Chandler Jones, he's a beast. And then number 2, Aaron Rodgers, the cerebral assassin. That guy, I'm telling you, he's just a menace. He is the phantom menace of football because the guy doesn't care. He breaks rules. I mean, he's just smooth with his talk. But the moment that he took away that discount double check, it just kind of messed everything up a little bit. Now he got away from all that. Now he's focused on football. Yep. Number 3, come on, man. You got Thanos' brother and Tom Brady. He's got the rings. He's been there, done that. And with playoff Lenny just running the ball defensively, they're coming back. I mean, they're just looking monstrous.
Getting extra possessions.
Yeah. So, and then on the last but not least with Dallas, Zeke, guy, I don't know what to tell you. You're playing inconsistent. Pollard has been outrunning you, outshining you, and now that they're getting some of the with Amari Cooper coming back, offensively that's going to help them out a little bit. But do they have enough to go against you guys? I don't think so. I think they're in the bottom of the pecking order. So we'll find out in the next episode, see how things are shaping up. Let's move over to the AFC. So, Chris, at number 1, do you feel that Baltimore is right where they need to be at number 1?
No.
Why?
Their run game. I mean, we're getting to those months. They're a little shaky there, I think, right now, and it gets harder to throw the ball. And for someone that sometimes has trouble throwing the ball, I think that I'm not saying they're going to lose the division or drop out, but I'm not sure that they can maintain that number 1. They've got some tough games, even if the records of the following teams or the teams they play don't match. They do have some tough games coming, so I don't see them dropping much more. They probably are still going to get a bye. They're not going to go below 2. But
Okay. Eric, number 2, Tennessee Titans.
The bracket that I have has the Patriots number 2.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry about that with the loss, okay?
Yep.
Thank you, Eric. Thanks, man.
Hey, I'm here for you.
Thank you.
I think the Patriots are right where they need to be. I think Mac Jones is playing excellent football for a rookie. Of course, they have the chess master as their coach, so he's going to coach them up good and take players away from the opposing team. So I think they're poised to make a run. It's just, when will Mac Jones have his rookie woes? He's never played playoff football in this league, and it's different. So if they make a run, they have to depend on a rookie to take them through, and it's very rare that
gonna have
happens.
about 4 or 5 more games this year, even if he doesn't go to the
Right.
playoffs. He's gonna have to get used to.
Now, Taylor, the Tennessee Titans.
I really don't see them as a number 3 seed. Pre-Derrick Henry injury, yeah, for sure. But I would say Chiefs and honestly the Bengals I'd put above them right now. It seems like that Tennessee offense just can't score right now. A.J. Brown's out, Julio's out, obviously Derrick Henry, and they're just not what they used to be a month ago.
So I was under the impression that Derrick Henry might make a comeback towards the end, but the way I see it is, especially with the high-paying running back and your key essential player on the I just let him sit for the year.
It's an ankle. Why would you want your franchise guy to come back early and possibly re-injure himself? Too valuable.
I thought it was if they made it into the a week or 2 into the playoffs, he might have a chance to. You know what I mean? If they're into middle of January, then then you're 2 months out. You might have a chance to be back by then. But yeah, I don't know by the end of the year. Maybe with a 17-week game season. I mean, he's probably looking at a 6-week recovery, and so it'd be close. And I suspect that would depend on how he's recovering. So, but yeah, I'd agree with Taylor on that. They're not, and the Colts have looked. I know they lost, but they've been looking pretty dang good lately.
They have.
I have this feeling. Shout out to Kyle and the Colts fans. The Colts are going to beat Tennessee in their second matchup, and if Tennessee keeps dropping, don't be surprised if the Colts take the division. Just swoop up and get it, because they're
Colts probably still play the Jags again and the Texans again as well. So
easy wins.
I mean, those are
Hey, shout out to Chuck. Hey, we don't give up on the Texans. We don't give up. So I got Kansas City. Kansas City should not be in number 4. They should be higher. They are playing great football right now. And Driston, the guy on our show, he knows I've been hard on Kansas City. I've already made amends. I told him I would not crush on Kansas City anymore, but I'm just waiting. It's just a probation period before I can start dogging on them again. But for now, I can't. I can't be too mean. Right now, Kansas City is playing great. They have everything going for themselves. Patrick Mahomes has limited the mistakes, and they're utilizing more of the wide receiver position. So now it's not so focused on Hill and Kelsey. Now they're using other guys getting in. So, all right. So that concludes the NFL. We're going to move on to quick college football. So my team, the Roll Tide, beat the number 1 team in Georgia Bulldogs. So Alabama, again, is the SEC champions. Congratulations, Roll Tide. Kiki, we did it. Roll Tide. So, Eric, real quick, let's just do a quick rundown on college football games. So we have
Cincinnati locked in their spot at number 4.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Michigan plays in about an hour and a half against Iowa. Can Iowa have upset Saturday? I don't know.
I'd love it. As an Ohio State fan, I'd love
No one's,
watching Michigan.
no one's
fall.
talking about Ohio State, Chris.
No, I know. I got to bring them up anyway.
Yeah, Georgia's going to drop to probably 2 or 3. They're still in no matter what.
Sure.
The question is, though, I think we saw the national championship game. Can Alabama do it twice? It's hard to beat a team twice in a season, especially teams this talented. I think Georgia finally got hit in the mouth. You know, they played a really quality offense and defense. They did make some mistakes, but can they do it again? And can Michigan get the job done? I mean, we're talking about Harbaugh's job on the line here. He finally beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
About time.
Well, I think that secured his job. I mean, another good season and finally beat the rival. Secured him for a year. But this, I mean, getting to the CFP is huge. I mean,
Big
he
deal.
was brought in to do that.
Right.
And beat.
Here's the thing. Shout out to LT and Chuck, because Chuck here, he's a big Go Blue fan. You guys are going to get the win. The stars are aligning in Michigan. It's aligning for them. They've got this. Iowa, yes, they've played all right, but they've been quiet through the whole season, just racking up their
They're
wins.
11-2. They're
So
not bad.
If they beat Iowa, they are going to destroy Cincinnati. I'm sorry for all those Ohio guys out there that are big Cincinnati fans. Travis Kelce, don't hate me. I know that's your school, but Michigan will run over them and probably beat them by 21 or 28 points.
Ooh.
I think that I don't think they'll wind up playing each other that first game because I think Alabama's going to jump up to 1 after winning
that's
Georgia,
true.
so you'll have Georgia bump down to 2,
Okay.
and then that would bump Michigan to 3 and Cincinnati to 4. If you just roll if it was and you move those 2 around, so then you'd have Michigan playing Georgia. And Alabama playing Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to have a tough go no matter who they play.
No matter what.
Let's be honest. I
But
mean,
it all depends on the committee, right?
I really hope to. Because they could always be like, well, we like Notre Dame better.
Here's the thing. Oklahoma State had their chance. They blew it. So forget them. Notre Dame.
They could still do
They
it.
can still get in if Michigan loses. If Michigan loses, I feel that the committee needs to look at Notre Dame. They said, hey, they won out. They only lost in Cincinnati. Maybe a redemption game. Kind of get them in and say, hey, we're all here in the big dance.
Carlos, I hear you, but let's take a look at the history of what Notre Dame does when they get in the college football playoff.
Well, and they just lost their coach.
Yeah.
That was
Nobody's
such a...
Although I could see them wanting to put him in just to spite Brian Kelly and his family.
Well, you know what? He's going to go to LSU, and we're going to go, and Alabama's going to go beat him over there as well. So it don't matter where he goes. Alabama's got this. So, okay, we will find out. We will do a special edition for the college playoffs, and we will see where it goes from there. So let's go ahead and take a quick segment break, and we will come right back. All right. Here we are, the moment of truth, the favorite segment, mano a mano. Eric, can you do this? Eric, you're you're a 3-time?
Yeah, I'm a 3-time mono champion. It's tough out here.
And we got Chris at
He's
1.
good at this. Yeah, I've
Chris
it
got
once.
and Taylor. Oh, we'll get you, Taylor. We'll get you in there. We're gonna get you in there. All right. So Mano Mano is brought to you by State Farm from Ernie Rellis. Thank you very much for supporting us, Ernie. All right. So we're gonna start this off with you, Eric. With the Steelers being 5-5-1, is there an uproar for a change in personnel or perhaps maybe a player change? Explain.
Absolutely. All the real Steelers fans know that it's time for Ben Roethlisberger to go. He needs to retire. He has nothing else to prove. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He'll be in the Ring of Honor, but his $15 million contract is too much. We need to go after a marquee quarterback acquisition. His time is up. He needs to go. We have our running back. We have our safety, which is a huge coveted position. Steelers safety is kind of what we have our backbone on when it comes to defense. We have a linebacker now that replaced Ryan Shazier. We just need that quarterback now of the future.
I'd say this season there's nothing they can do. I mean, they're locked with who they have. I do think what the Steelers could do, kind of do what the Patriots did last year. Kind of had, with Cam Newton as a stopgap for a year, probably wouldn't be the best year. And then, try to get someone like a Mac Jones, a younger quarterback, to, be their franchise quarterback after Ben goes away. Another option would be to get one of these potential options like Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, although as a Ravens fan, I don't want to see that. But, I think that, this is Big Ben's last ride.
It's definitely Big Ben's last ride. I would absolutely love to have Aaron Rodgers. He said it on the Pat McAfee show a couple times. He's hinted at the Steelers. I think it's a pipe dream. I don't think the Steelers, they don't make crazy trades like that. It would take probably everybody but T.J. Watt and Mika Fitzpatrick to make that happen, and I don't think they want to do that. We also don't pay quarterbacks like that, and Aaron's always been one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league, and I don't think he would leave Green Bay to go to Pittsburgh. I could see him going to Denver, but I couldn't see him going to Pittsburgh. So I think we have to look to the draft, and there's not really that guy in college right now that's established himself as the franchise guy. So I think we either hit free agency. There's a couple of people that might work, but I don't think the heir apparent is in the Steelers roster right now. I don't think it's Mason Rudolph. I don't think it's Dwayne Haskins. It's definitely not Josh Dobbs. He's going to be a coach, not a player anymore. So it's rebuild at the quarterback position, 100%.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Eric. I mean, overall, the Steelers, they already have the established in the running back in Najee Harris. Chase Claypool's still young. The guy, he's still effective. Washington's still good. And then I like your. Could you tell me again your tight end again? How you say his name? I can never say his name right.
Freiermuth.
Freiermuth.
Yeah.
That's such a cool name. Sounds like a tire brand. But anyways, so it goes to show the Steelers have everything in play. It's just the quarterback that they need. And Ben, as a Broncos fan, you have given us a hard time. We have given you a hard time. I did appreciate.
Tebow. Yeah.
No one's talking about Tebow, man.
I'll never forget.
Chris, you already lost already. That's a loss for you. And you didn't even start yet. That's a loss. You made an awesome appearance in the Dark Knight movie. Thank Dark Knight Rises, by the way. He was there. Him and Hines Ward. Good job.
Shout out Wichita Vice.
Oh yeah. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, this is not your year. It's not their year. So I'm going to go ahead and give this to you, Eric. It's just good points. Good points. All right. Chris.
Yes.
With Carolina being 5-7 as a record, how effective Cam Newton is for the team to make a playoff appearance? Explain.
Not effective. I don't think. He's better. He turned out, I think, to be better than they expected Sam Darnold to be. But that team I think it's just a little reeling right now. Matt Rule's still a young coach and hasn't quite figured out what he's doing yet. So Cam Newton is not the key to their playoff successes.
I just think there's too many just key parts missing from that team right now. McCaffrey's on IR, and then seems like Robbie Anderson can't catch a pass. There's just really not a whole lot I can see Carolina doing at this point to rectify their season. Cam's, hot or cold. One game, he'll, be screaming, I'm back, and the next game.
Picks.
Yep.
Taylor, here's the thing. My niece, I've made this shout out to my niece, Esme. Love you. This girl has to see her team lose in the Super Bowl against Denver. She has to see every year up and down inconsistencies. It's bad, especially in the state of North Carolina. North Carolina basketball, they're not doing all that great. The Charlotte Hornets, they have a little bit of promise there. And when you look at the Carolina Panthers, you want to bring back those glory days. I remember. No, forget Cam Newton. Let's go back further.
Jake Delhomme.
Yes, and then Steve Smith and all them. And the thing is that Cam Newton, I'm happy that he came back. It changes the dynamics of the team. But it's not just Cam Newton, though. It goes beyond like defensively in their personnel. They can't beat Miami. They struggled there. They lost to the Washington football team. Christian McCaffrey's always getting hurt. Every year it's like, okay, that's why I don't draft him in fantasy, because he's always getting hurt. And the fact is that they have the Buccaneers right now controlling that division, and with the Saints here and there. I mean, yes, they do get a little runs-ins with the Falcons, but for this year, I would do is maybe Cam Newton get back with the coach, redo the plays, kind of figure out what will work with Cam, what will work for Christian, and also find Hubbard's a good running back too. He's all right. He's smiling. This guy, that's a loss for you. He's making fun of me. But overall, I just feel that right now that Carolina is just not there for this season.
They've got of the remaining games, they have one at the Bills and 2 against the Buccaneers.
3 losses.
Yeah, and then they've only got a few. They've only got 6 games left. So,
all right. So I'm gonna give that one to you, Chris. So you got that one. Boy, you better step up your game, Taylor. You need to step up, and this is gonna be great. So I'm gonna start this off with you, Chris.
all right.
Who will win the AFC North and why?
Who will win the AFC North? I gotta say, it's probably going to be the Ravens. We're just a step behind them. We've got the divisional record right now, but they've got an overall record with some pretty good games ahead of them. So, unfortunately, I would go with the Ravens just because they're in the driver's seat right now with the best record in the AFC.
So for me, I think it's also going to be the Ravens, but I think the Bengals have a chance only because they're peaking at the right time. The Browns are out. My beloved Steelers were also done. But I think if the Ravens lose on Sunday, sorry, Taylor, that opens the door wide open for the Bengals. I mean, they're only one game behind right now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say a dream scenario for you, Chris. The Ravens lose to the Steelers. The Bengals win their game. The Bengals are either tied or in first place. I don't know exactly how it would go.
They'd have first with divisional record. We
Right.
have a better divisional record.
So I mean, it's still anybody's game for those two teams. Like I said, I think the Steelers and Browns are out. So it's, can Joe Burrow keep him hot, and can Lamar with his legs and not turning the ball over keep it going? So
my question to you then, Eric,
okay,
because the only game I see left on their schedule that aside from the Bengals game, which I think that the Bengals can sweep that as well, is the Packers and the Steelers. So if the Steelers can help me out, so I've got to put that on the Steelers. If they can get if they can maybe win 1 or 2 of those, then yes, I think the Bengals can pull it off. But that's a pretty big if with the way the Steelers. Big Ben reminds me of Drew Brees last year at the end of the year. You can see his brain's still working, but the body's not doing what he wants it to do anymore.
And that's Ben's biggest problem. He can't drive the ball down the field.
Yeah, which that was his biggest skill, was just a huge arm to, be able to stand there and take the hit and throw it, and he's not able to quite hold up under those hits like he used to.
He's not.
But I see a game here, Chris, real quick, and Taylor, help me out here. I hope they flex this game, but the Bengals still got a date with the Chiefs.
Oh, yeah, in a couple weeks.
I will hope they flex that game, and I think it's going to be in Cincinnati. So flex that game, and I will. If you beat the Chiefs, I see you guys win the division.
If we beat the Chiefs, then we might.
Okay.
Well, we have the Chiefs and the Ravens again. We still have the Browns again. I mean, there's some tough games, but we have a lot of them at home, and if we can get the home field advantage going, if we can rule the jungle.
So you're going for the Ravens to win it. Who are you taking?
I'm gonna take the gamble, and I'm gonna say the Bengals.
Oh.
I'm gonna say the Bengals.
Does that hurt a little?
It does. It does. It was hard for me to say it.
I'm gonna give this to you, Chris, because hey, you rooted for your team. So all right, you get one in. All right, I'm gonna start this off with you, Taylor. With the multiple injuries in the running back position this year in the NFL, do you feel that the owners need to consider about changing the pay rate for the running backs? If so, why?
I do think to an extent they already have. I think unless you're an elite running back, you're not going to get top dollar in this league. Unless you're, a Derrick Henry, a Dalvin Cook, a Kamara, and even them, they're all 3 hurt. So I really think you do need to proceed with caution with these running backs unless it's a big body, a big frame. Those, running backs cannot be taking, 20, 25 touches a game, and they're just within a few years they're a shell of their former self. I do think there does need to be a lot more caution when giving out these contracts.
So I've watched this a long time. Remember, it was a couple years ago where a running back didn't go in the first round for a long time, since like the 60s, and then it was Derrick Henry, and he was like the first. No, Derrick Henry went the second round.
Yeah, I thought it was Zeke Elliott was the first one to go up.
Zeke. So as far as pay is concerned, that's always been a pretentious position because running backs have a short lifespan. They almost have the shortest lifespan of any of the skill positions because they get hit every play. They get a lot of touches. And you saw, like, back in the day when it was like Emmitt Smith, you had one feature back. And you could do that. Now you have to have 2 backs in this league.
You got to give your guy a break.
You have
even
to.
if it's a Derrick Henry.
Even go back, and I'm glad you brought that up, Eric. That's what a nice point, because let's go back and show some respect to our elders here, going all the way back like Otis Anderson, Terrell Davis,
Jim
Barry, also John Riggins, Kansas player. All these Bo Jackson, Eric Dickerson. These running backs were big.
Marshall Faulk.
He wasn't that big.
He wasn't big, but he was a feature back.
He was a feature back. But
Eddie
did you see they
George.
took Eddie George? He was one of my favorite running backs. But he's not Terrell Davis, but he was up there. But anyways,
Thurman Thompson.
Thurman Thompson was a beast for the Bills. Here's the thing. Look at those players and look at comparing Kamara, when Todd Gurley ran, and then remember when Chris Johnson for the Titans ran for 2,000 yards?
Yep.
They're petite. I mean, they're still strong, but still, look at the difference. They've gotten faster, but I've noticed their shelf life is not that good. So
they also have to catch passes now. Those guys really didn't go out and catch passes. Terrell did on screen passes, but I mean, Kamara has, 1,000-yard rushing, 1,000-yard receiving. Something like that. And then, like I said, when it comes to pay, these guys want to get paid like wide receivers. They want guaranteed money. But like Taylor was saying, for the owners, it's a risk. But these guys are making money. They're filling the seats. You're seeing more guys trying to get more guaranteed money. If you want these players, you got to pay them. You got to pay them.
Yeah, you do have to pay them. But I just, paying top dollar, paying $15+ million a year, is it worth it when you can get someone, say, in the draft who gives 75-80% of that production for a fraction of the cost? I don't, if I'm a GM, I'm not going to just cut my team's salary cap, just do that to the team where I could have a better O-line, a better pass rusher. I do think that value from other positions overrides the potential for a bell cow running back.
I think you also have to look at what your team needs and also the future, because look at what happened. Let's just talk about Dallas. Zeke held out, was hanging out in Cancun, and then he gets paid, and then he doesn't even break 1,000 yards. Le'Veon Bell for my Steelers has 300 touches, says I want $16 million a year. We say we're not going to pay him. He goes to.
He got it, but
he did get it, but
for a year.
But then he
went to the Jets.
He went to the Jets.
But then he just got cut off the practice squad.
Got ran out of there, and then he went to the Ravens. And he got ran. No, sorry, he went to the Chiefs.
Chiefs got ran.
Didn't even dress for the Super Bowl, and then talked bad about Andy Reid, and now he's got picked up by the Ravens, and now he's unemployed. So you have to, the guys that try and reset the market, I don't think that should be their deal. Your work will speak for yourself. I've never heard Derrick Henry hold out. He was a rushing champion 2 or 3 times before he got paid. He deserved to get paid. It's just tough. You just have to weigh out what your team needs, because the salary cap isn't moving with how much these guys are getting paid. And also the owners, I think, need to give up more money, because all these guys are billionaires. All these guys are billionaires.
Well, that's the collective bargaining.
Right.
They should have gone through it a little bit harder this time, but they didn't want another lockout, so it got signed real quick last year. But
and the players are never going to be as strong as the owners.
No,
never.
So, Taylor, I'm going to give this to you. Thank you for the mathematics. I can tell you went to accounting class. Good job. So you got your win there. But because of collecting on wins, you do advance, Eric, again to the playoffs.
Oh, well, thank
no surprise. All right. So you get to sit back on this one. So, Chris, I'm going to give this to you.
All right, let's see.
All right. How confident would you feel the Chargers win the division this year?
The Chargers winning the AFC West. Not confident at all. I think they might make a wild card play, but I think they're not going to win the AFC West. You've got, the Chiefs are still the class. They're going to still get another shot and probably put it to them pretty good. Andy Reid doesn't like getting swept by his divisional opponent, so
I'm going to go out on the limb and I'm going to say it's going to be either between them and the Chiefs. And Chargers already got one win in Arrowhead this season. I think they're going to come back to LA and they could do it again. Brandon Staley is a risk taker, and I think, if they get enough of those gambles going their way, they can win that division. They can beat the Chiefs and make some noise in the playoffs.
Okay. Those are two solid things. So far, but that game against the Broncos when they lost, the Chargers, the Broncos beat, now we've said this already, a four-man rush was able to get to Justin Herbert. Four-man rush. All right. I'm not no expert. I'm just saying. You can't do that to Kansas City. We can't do that. There's no way. But we have to reestablish back that question. Against the game tomorrow, they play against the Bengals. Do you still feel that they're going to be the top dogs in the AFC West? And I'll get at you, Chris.
I said earlier I did predict the Bengals to win, but who's to say Mahomes doesn't kind of revert back? He's already thrown quite a few interceptions this season. We can't assume he's going to be perfect from now on. He could, kind of go back to that early season form, and Chargers have dropped a few games as of late, but they could, begin to peak at the right time and, do what's needed to win the division.
If, could, should, what? Yeah, Patrick Mahomes throwing a bunch more interceptions, unlikely. I don't want to say he's the golden child. I hate that, but man, he's looked really good for the time that he's been on a field. And yeah, the Chargers have a few winnable games on their slot here. They got a game against the Giants. They've got a game against the Texans coming up. Probably winnable games, but both those teams have beat some teams they shouldn't have beat. Taylor's back at the Texans, and they are looking better, so there's always a chance there's an upset there. They still have to play the rest of their division again this year, going into the winter time. I don't think they have any other cold weather games other than that. The rest of their stuff's at home, so they're looking good that way. But after their loss tomorrow with the Bengals, they're going to be behind the 8 ball big time with the Chiefs on top, and that's a tough one to overcome.
That's a good one, Chris. Good point. You got that one. So you're going to go back at it again. So the winner of you two will face Eric in the championship here. So I'm going to start this off with you, Taylor. You got to make it. You got to make it happen here.
Let's do it.
This is it. How do you feel about the first 4 leaders in the NFC?
How do I feel?
How do you feel as they're ranked right now with number one being now I forgot, with Arizona,
right,
Green Bay, Tampa, and Dallas. Do you like where they are at?
I like the first 3. Not so sure about Dallas. I do think Arizona does deserve to be number 1. They've won several games without their quarterback. That just shows how great of a team they are overall. And then with Green Bay, you can never count them out. Aaron Rodgers is playing excellent football. Tampa Bay's got the GOAT still. With Dallas, I just don't really see them. I can see them winning their own division, but in terms of being the 4th best team in the NFC, no way.
If they would lose the 4th seed, who you think would take it, Philly or the Washington football team?
I would have to go with Washington. They beat recently the Bucks. They just won on Monday night against Seattle.
Well, they're on am I not mistaken? They're on a 3-game winning streak.
Right. That's correct.
And they've got a couple key players back offensively. They're tied in one of their receivers, and then they finally rediscovered how great they can be when they run the ball. With
Are you
Antonio
kidding me? With Gibson?
Yeah.
Yeah, McKissick? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I still got robbed in that one touchdown. I should have, yeah. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Okay, good points, Chris.
I mean, the top three I think are where they should. Well, I mean, you could toss it up. The Bucks, they've got a pretty weak schedule to end the year because they're playing a lot of divisional opponents.
Classic Tom Brady.
Yeah, and so they could leapfrog someone there. The Packers honestly don't have a really tough schedule. I think they have a Ravens game maybe, which is going to probably be their toughest game. And the Cardinals, I mean, they've got a mediocre schedule. So those three, you could toss them up. That they're going to be fighting for those wild card or those bye weeks. Those three teams are going to be fighting for those 1 and 2 seeds to get the bye weeks. That fourth spot, I mean, it's going to go to probably the East. Whoever wins the NFC East. Right now it's Dallas. They have, I mean, they're 2 games up on the other guys in their division. That's a lot in the NFL.
Especially at this time of the year.
Yeah, and now they do play a lot of their division, so that could change because they play Washington 2 more times. They play the Giants, they play the Eagles, but those are also not very good teams. So they could roll them. I mean, they've already beat the Giants and the Eagles already. They could roll the Washington pretty easily with the team. None of those have strong records. Yeah, they've put a couple games here together, but I mean, the Eagles did not look all that good this last week after looking pretty good the week before. Washington's looked pretty good, but then they looked really bad before that. So I don't have any confidence in either of those teams. And I mean, I'm with Chaz. I mean, who's voting for a New York team ever? Like, never going to pick one of those guys. So yeah, I think it's the top 3 positions. I think that could change a little bit. Fourth is probably going to be Dallas. So just with the way they've got a lead in that division, and it's I mean, they might even get beat. They could beat each other up a little bit, and they still would have a lead in that division. So,
And then I would say in terms of just conference that Dallas will more than likely get the 4th seed, but are they the 4th best team in the NFC? No. Rams, I'd definitely put above them. I'd put just the NFC West is so stacked right now. 49ers could make a case if they keep winning as they are. And in terms, they're going to win the NFC East most likely, but are they the 4th best team in the NFC? No.
Good point, Taylor. That was good.
I mean, by record, they are still the 4th best team, even though we like to crud on the NFC East. They are the 4th best team in the conference right now with their record, not just because they're division winners.
Right. Because in the wild card spot, I mean, you still got Minnesota hanging in there, the 49ers, the Rams.
And those NFC West guys still got to play each other a little bit too. I mean, the NFL wants to, which is exciting to put the divisional games at the end because we know those, no matter what your record is, you can have a 2 and whatever bottom feeder who's like, I know that I'm not going to the playoffs, but if I can make it harder for them to.
Disruptors.
That's what. And plus, I'm getting paid to go play this game. So,
all right, Chris,
no matter what place I'm in.
You got it, Chris. You got it. So, all right. So, we are here. Taylor, thank you for participating. You're going to get yours. You'll get yours.
Taylor, you're doing a good job, man.
You're going to get yours. And watch, because of that, he's going to get that win tomorrow against your team.
Yep.
So, all right. So, here we go. For the championship, will we see a 4-time here, or we're going to see a 2-time? We're about to find out. And you guys, we will do some input so you guys can relay or absorb of what we're talking about and throw it in your case. Okay, so I'm going to start this off with you, Chris.
Okay.
Will Kansas City Chiefs go back to the Super Bowl? If so, why?
Or if not, why?
You do it. You name it. You name it.
I'm going to say no, this is not their year. They're not going to get home field advantage to the playoffs is one reason why, and Arrowhead is a big home field advantage. And I think that there's just not that second big time receiver after Tyreek Hill Kelsey's still there, and he is really the second big time receiver, but an actual wide receiver like they had with Watkins in the past, and Hardman doesn't seem to be stepping up, and so that's why.
I think
A couple points why.
Okay, I think they have a chance, but they have to peak at the right time. It's not the offense I'm worried about because Pringle's coming up, Miko Hardman, he just has to stop making mistakes, but I think it really comes down to the secondary. It's not even the front 4 or 5 anymore. It's really down to the secondary. They got exposed earlier in the year. I think they can, but I really think if it's going to be between what I think is the AFC Championship game, which will be the Chiefs and the Bills, that'll be a rivalry from here on out. I think the Bills favor this year. I think it's really going to go down to Josh Allen and them. As long as they can make it there, I think they win that game because, like Chris said, they won't have home field, and they'll have to be in Buffalo, and that's a hard place to win in January.
Or it could be in New England, which is similar.
Again, it's
similar,
hard to win in Gillette.
yeah.
It's hard to beat Belichick, and he looks like he has that team going, so I don't think the Chiefs are going to be in it.
And I would say also with that secondary, I a little suspect on their run defense, and we're getting to that time of year, and to put the ball, who else would you want to put it in Patrick Mahomes' hands to win a game? But if it's in Buffalo and it's snow's falling and it's 20 degrees outside and you've got to drive 80 yards, maybe you don't want anyone else to be doing it, but you really don't want to be in that position in the first place.
I mean, we saw the Super Bowl, right? They didn't have a running game. Patrick scrambled for 500 yards, and couldn't
The opposite way.
the opposite way, and couldn't win. So this time of the year, you have to have a run game, and their run game has been suspect the entire year.
I believe they have Edwards-Helaire in right now. He's been a little banged up here and there. That has been a bit of their problem, and I think they've been able to, because that's been locked down. That's probably, Patrick Mahomes has had his interception problems, and I'm like you, Eric. I'm not overly worried about the Chiefs
offense.
I am worried about it, though, if they're trying to come back
from behind
in a playoff game. And if they're trying to come back from a playoff game, that probably means that their defense has not done what it should.
Now, they did, when they won the Super Bowl, they did come back from behind three times.
That was their MO.
14 to 21 point comebacks. They're not that team. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, and it's the NFL. You can't count on a comeback.
Right.
You try. You're always hoping that you're going to, and you have guys like Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady who do comebacks, make it look easy,
right,
but it's not. And there's a reason that win probability will go to 89% if you're up by 3 points and you've got 80 yards to drive.
Right. And let's remember also, Carlos, when the Chiefs did win the Super Bowl, they did not have home field advantage. They did?
Yeah. That's a loss for you already.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, they
Gosh,
Hey.
you the hypeness.
I tried.
No, here's the thing. No, go ahead.
It was
Go
cool.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was trying. They just, you can't count them out. You can't count out Andy Reid as a coach. If it does go through Gillette, though, you take Andy Reid out because Belichick and Andy Reid cancel each other out. So
Although I would say Belichick has won more of those head-to-heads.
Yeah.
Back when
he's beaten him in the Super
Bowl.
Bowl. He's beaten him in the Super
And
Bowl.
he's beaten him a couple times
He's
now
beaten
in
the
the
regular season.
in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
And he's beaten him in the AFC Championship. Remember
I
when
mean,
D
Reed's
Ford
won a couple in the regular season, but
Right.
But when it counts.
yeah,
When it counts.
when it counts.
I would just say that that's why I say I think it's going to be the Bills.
Okay, what do you think, Taylor? Help us out here in the mix.
I don't see the Chiefs either. They just really are a flawed team. I mean, they're a great team, don't get me wrong, but they just don't have everything they need to make that Super Bowl appearance.
Who would represent the AFC if it was your right now, today? I know it might change a little bit later, but who you think would really represent the AFC in the Super Bowl?
Dirty Birds.
Bills. I think they make the best argument.
That's a point for me.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, bro. You
Aren't
messed up
they-
on some facts.
I did.
Aren't they like? Aren't the Bills like 6-6 now? Are they 7-5, 6-6?
I think they're 7-5.
I thought there was 7.
Seven
Okay.
and 5. Wow.
See, there's some more facts right there. See that, Carlos?
You're making a good point, but I need to switch it up a notch. Okay, so I'm going to start with you real quick here because
I thought we were talking about the Chiefs.
yes, we're talking about the Chiefs itself.
7-4 Bills. Bills 7-4.
Okay,
so they're half a game back.
This is it here. This is it. So how about the AFC Championship? If the Chiefs would go to the AFC Championship, who would they be going against?
Who would they be going against?
There's only
everyone's loving on the AFC East. I'm gonna throw out the Ravens. I mean, they're first right now for a reason. I mean, they've had some nasty games, but they're still winning without a running back to be found or anyone that they can find. And they're John Harbaugh. I mean, yeah, that's John there.
It's John. Yeah.
Okay.
If you would have said Jim, you would lost already.
I didn't know.
Okay.
I was like,
That's
had
the
to
other
double
guy,
check,
the other
but
brother. The other brother.
the winning one, John.
Hey, the other one's doing good. Chris.
Hey, I'm just saying they met in a Super Bowl once, and one walked away a winner, and that was John.
Christmas bragging rights right there in the
Yeah,
family
I mean
dinner.
that's a family thing. I mean he's a great coach. He really. I mean I've watched him in the division now for 20 years, probably close 15 at least, and he's just a really good coach. And so I'm not going to put it past him when he's in first to just go out and crap every game and lose that spot. So
there's only two options.
and he's been fighting hard for a few years to get back to that.
So you're sticking
level.
with the Ravens.
Yeah.
Ravens and Chiefs, if that was the case.
If that's the case.
Okay.
So there's only two options here. It's the Ravens or the Bills, right? So let's think about when it comes down to the end of the year and who you need to do that 80-yard drive late in the game. I think I would put my money on Josh Allen over Lamar because I don't think Lamar has the arm and the accuracy to get it done late in the game in a fourth quarter drive with a minute and a half to go.
Unless he gets a few extra seconds on the play clock like Detroit.
Right. So in that case, in a winner game outside for all the marbles to go to the Super Bowl, coaches set aside, defense is set aside, I have to put my money with Josh Allen as a complete quarterback. I'm going to fall on the complete quarterback, because I don't think Lamar is there. He's on his way. He hasn't got paid yet, and this playoff run that they can possibly go on will determine if he becomes a $250 million man or not. There's a lot riding on this that people aren't really looking into because Lamar is still on his rookie deal.
Do you agree that you would take the Bills over the Ravens? Now, set aside your loyalties, Taylor.
That's a hard question.
A betting man. Do you feel that the Bills would be better suited in the AFC Championship than your team, the Ravens?
Versus the Chiefs?
Yes. Now, remember, both of you guys already beaten Kansas City.
Right.
So, okay, go ahead. Answer the question.
At this point, I would say just seeing how the Bills played versus the Chiefs already this year, and just the injuries the Ravens have, their lack of running game, I've got to go with the Bills on that.
All right, case is settled. Go
I
ahead,
was going to
Eric.
go something crazy here.
Okay, let's see. Okay.
I'm going to throw out something crazy.
Okay,
Throw
go
out.
for it.
Colts come up, win the AFC South, and they just roll through the playoffs, and it's Colts and Chiefs, and Colts and what's Taylor? Taylor just runs it right up.
Jonathan Taylor?
Run the damn ball.
Okay, make your point.
So I would say that could happen if Peyton Manning was there.
Oh, Carson's playing good now.
But-
I'm not a Carson fan, but
Hang
if
on.
Frank Reich's going to be like, it's 1992 and the Bills, I'm taking it.
And Chris, I hear you, but has Carson Wentz ever made it through a playoff run?
No.
No, okay,
Yeah.
you won, my friend. He did it. He's stuck in the round.
I said it was a crazy
Heavy-
thing.
it
I
was a
did
crazy
say it was
thing.
just a crazy
I
thing.
was riding with you.
You got him with the jinx right there. You got him. 4-time. Any words about champion real quick? Any words you want to say?
It gets harder every time. Chris and Taylor both had me on my toes. I said some bad facts. And I had to come back. I had to rally. It's tough. It's tough. It's so much fun. It's tough. I love this.
We need
love it.
Driston. I know Driston had to work today. We were thinking of you, buddy. When you come back, I know we were dogging your Chiefs, so I cannot wait when you come in and you hear what happened. And also, we're looking forward. Chaz, I hope you're doing well. You're in our thoughts and prayers, buddy. Also, Kyle, we miss you. Can't wait you come back to the show. And Don will be here next week.
And shout out to Chuck. We miss you too.
Oh yeah, go blue, go blue. So any
No.
final words real quick before we go?
Hey, just thanks up for the shout out last week. Got the family stuff wrapped up and moving forward. So
We love you, Chris. We
Yeah.
love you, man.
Don't ever count out Derrick Henry if he comes back. Titans can make a run.
This guy.
As a 4-time champ, I want to say thank you for you guys coming out and making it tough. Thank you for the listeners, Carlos, Eric in the back. Just thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to have fun and come out here, take my mind off of some other things, and just I really appreciate you guys.
And then, Chris, I just want to say, first of all, yes, Chris, you're always in our heart and prayers. Chris, you and the family, I love you, buddy. I've known you for these couple of years. You've been there for me, and I appreciate you. Eric, keeping your head up. You're looking classy. I like that. You keep it going because you're going to win this year probably. Taylor, I appreciate you, man. We've known each other for a couple of years as well. I know him and I right now in our fantasy league, we're number 1, number 2. I like it like that I'm number 1. And I like it that you're number 2. It's not bad, but thank you, buddy. Also, I want to thank our people in the back, Eric. My boy Eric, thank you so much. Paulo, thank you so much for making the nice designs.
Wonderful.
I appreciate your work that you're always doing. And I want to thank also people even more behind the scenes. Andrew, Leo, Tim, thank you guys for being supportive since get-go. I want to give a quick shout-outs here. I want to thank the people. See, my brother works at the hospital here in our hometown, Wichita, Kansas, at St. Francis Hospital. I want to thank my brother. I love you. And everyone there in the hospital working day and night, first, second, third, just keeping everybody afloat and during these critical times. So to the medical staff, everyone throughout the United States, everybody throughout the world, also the people who are listening to us, thank you guys for what you're doing. I do appreciate you guys. Also, I want to thank also our buddy Kyle here. Kyle, thank you so much for just being there for us as well on the show. We show some love to the Colts. We do. We appreciate you. Also, I want to thank my friend Luis Carbajal and the family. They're Cowboy fans. Got to show some love to the Cowboys, to America's team. You too, my friend Brian, holding it down in Oklahoma. Brandon, our big friend there, that's a Raiders fan. He's in Vegas right now, enjoying it out there. Hope he's doing well. And then Marie, I hope you're doing well there in California. Please stay safe. They're a big 49ers fan. And overall, I want to finish up by announcing that the Cutting Crew is coming back. We have a new show that's going to be called Packs and Stacks. So if you guys need help on supplements, need maybe workout suggestions, we've got a new segment on that. Also, Eric's fly fishing adventure. So if you want to learn how to fly fish, you want to learn a little bit about outdoor stuff, tune into our show. We're going to be doing that as well. And also on our Silver Cosmo movie reviews, we do have our show for Dune coming up, part 1. I cannot wait to talk about that. And also we do have the contest giveaway for Spider-Man Far From Home and The Matrix Resurrections. You guys, it's simple.
So much
like,
stuff.
subscribe,
Tune in.
Absolutely.
and you know what? You'll win it. Now, for my out-of-towners, if you are from out of town, we will take down your information, and what we'll do is we'll submit over to you guys your address for the tickets. So we will get that worked out if you are into the contest, but you're from out of town. So we'll give you more details about that. And if you are in town, you will have your choice of the AMC theaters or the Regal. Or if you don't want to go to the movie theaters, we will give you a pass so you can watch it at home. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we look forward to hearing from you guys in the next episode.